Here with Weather Echo. We're going to talk about the monsoon flow, discuss exactly what that is. That's going to briefly impact the southwest United States and then potentially heat building across a large part of the western U.S. late July into August. Let's take a look at some of the details here. Okay, this is a satellite depiction of moisture. Why are we looking at this? Because this is where we can track the monsoon flow. We can also track tropical systems. Check a look at the Gulf of America. That area is full of moisture in the red. That's been producing the really wet conditions in the Mid-Atlantic region, as shown here, basically from the Mississippi River Valley to the East Coast. Now in the west, different story. Jet stream has been affecting our weather unusually far south, as shown here, with a lot of dry air across the northern Rockies and Pacific Northwest. Now, we are watching a feature coming up from the Baja, Mexico, California region. That'll be a player in developing the monsoon flow, bringing the scattered showers and thunderstorms, at least for a couple days, to our region. So a lot going on this map, but it shows nicely the key features that are playing an important role with precipitation across the United States. Now, a forecast weather map is shown here of a tropical feature that'll move up into the San Diego, Southern California region. This feature was developed by persistent daily thunderstorms over Mexico. A lot like what we saw in Texas, where that feature played an important role in the excessive rainfall in central Texas. That one stemmed from a tropical cyclone Barry. This one is just developing and forming from a system of thunderstorms over Mexico. Now, why is it coming to our area? Because the monsoonal flow, the black line curving up into Arizona, is producing this weather pattern that'll bring it to our region. So these are important features. Now, to the north, you can see the jet stream continues to go across the Great Lakes region. That left a weather disturbance off the Pacific Northwest. So different features going on. In the Gulf of America, you can also see the upper ridge in that location is allowing moisture to come into the Mid-Atlantic region, and that also could potentially allow for any tropical cyclone that forms to move into that region as well. All right, so what we're showing here is dew point temperatures. That's the true measure of moisture near ground level where we live. When these values get over 65 degrees Fahrenheit, we notice it. It becomes muggy. Over 70, it's very muggy. And it's downright oppressive when we get over 75. Now, right now, we have values in the 20s and 30s over the mountains of Southern California. We have values in the 50s and 60s across the deserts, including Arizona. Those values are much below what we would see in monsoon. So we expect these values to go up as moisture is introduced from the south as we go between July 17th and July 19th. So dew point temperature is our true measure of how moist the air feels, how muggy it is, how uncomfortable it is, and it doesn't depend on temperature. You can find out more information about this on our weather blog. All right, percent of average precipitation and temperature is shown here. Departing from average from July 1 to July 15, you can see the very wet conditions over the past 2 weeks in the Mid-Atlantic region and, of course, Texas. Also cooler than average in the Texas region as well. Lots of cloud cover and daily showers and thunderstorms. Now, across the west, a lot of red from Seattle down to San Diego, much drier than normal across the west, including the Great Basin area. Now, we do expect that to change a little bit here in July, and then especially in August when we finally get into a better monsoon pattern. All right, a little closer look at the west. You can see temperatures on the right. The coastal areas, persistent onshore flow, has allowed temperatures to be below average. Much warmer than average because the lack of a storm track, lack of precipitation in the Pacific Northwest. So conditions have been really warm, warmer than usual, warmer than the 30-year average in the Pacific Northwest and northern Great Basin, northern Rockies. Now, precipitation has occurred across the west, but it's been very spotty. primarily, as you see here in southern New Mexico, and then with a little dip in the jet stream at times, you can see also here in eastern Oregon, northern California. So two main areas. We should be seeing precipitation by now in the southwest desert region and Utah, and we have not seen much of that. It's much below average. This is the average weather pattern over the past 2 weeks. You can see the jet stream has been dipping across the center of the United States, specifically over Texas. And we've had two dominant features: much warmer atmosphere than normal in the Pacific Northwest. That's been bumping the jet stream just north of Seattle, keeping conditions very dry and warm there, also affecting our fire weather conditions. You can see in the east, there's a separate area that has been pumping up Gulf moisture into that region. So across Southern California, we've actually seen a weak upper low pressure system prevalent. That's kept onshore flow. All right, when we look forward, we are expecting heat to develop after this monsoonal push. That'll be late July and early August, as indicated here. So much of the West will get back into warmer than normal conditions for late July through early August. So this is the outlook over the next 4 weeks, taking us into the middle of August. You can see those red areas, and the arrows point to them as well. Persistent heat wave potential development in the West. Now, this also plays a role in the monsoon. While we'll see brief monsoon in Southern California with that old thunderstorm convective complex that comes up on July 17th and 18th, after that, it's dry across the West mostly, and it remains really wet with the arrows pointing in the Tennessee Valley, Mid-Atlantic region, all the way down to the Gulf. Now, we do see a little bit of change on the right-hand side, and that's because a dominant upper ridge, or the monsoonal flow, and the heat wave that develops in late July and early August could eventually start pumping up a more persistent monsoon activity as we get into the month of August. So, bottom line is a very slow, late start to the western monsoon and an excessively wet period from Texas to Mid-Atlantic region. Now, these patterns will continue, but we do see potential changes as we get to late July and especially in August. Be sure to check out more information on social media as indicated here, or as mentioned, learn more about dew point temperatures, the monsoon, and elevated thunderstorms on the weather blog, the Tardy blog, as linked here. All right, everyone, thanks for joining.